Let's get ready to rumble!
Hello, Happy New Year. Welcome back to Netflix versus Cinema, the podcast that goes to the cinema each week, sees things, goes home and watches things, rates everything out of 5, and then sees where money is better spent this week. I am your host. My name is Tosin. I am up in a place called Bromsgrove in the Midlands near Birmingham in the UK. And joining me, as always, on the Isle of Wight is Sharon Bollen.
Hello.
Joining us fresh off the plane from a place that you wouldn't expect it, but was colder than the UK, so came back to the UK to get some warmth, is Shaun Harris.
Hi.
And joining us all the way from London with a little bit of a lurgy, I think, is Holly Nesling.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Oh, right. Okay. Sums it up.
Okay. We'll take that.
We'll take that. Yeah, we'll take that.
I think that tells exactly what we're doing. So, all right, we've been on a bit of a break. We've had a couple of weeks off because of Christmas break and everything like that. And I think the last show that we had before we left, we were talking about, I think Shaun, you were either on a plane or somewhere in the States, and it was just Sharon, Holly, and I, and we were talking about Avatar. We were talking about how we did not think we were going to see Avatar. Now, and when I said that, I know Shaun, you watched us, you watched us banging on about that. It was mainly Sharon and Holly being like, polite, and me just ranting, ranting about James Cameron for 5 minutes. You watched it on YouTube, and you actually left a comment on there. And as I knew, and as I said then, I said I really wish that Shaun was here because at the moment it's becoming a bit like an Avatar hate session, and Shaun is the one who's going to bring back balance to the Force. Shaun's the one who's going to come up here, make us balanced, and talk about how he likes Avatar. And sure enough, you said you went to go watch the Avatar Way of Water. So before we get into it, we are going to talk about the things that we have seen on. We'll see how many of them we can get through today, or the things that we have seen on at home over the Christmas period. But before we go into that, I want to give Shaun a chance to come back and say, Avatar, why is it good? And then tell us about Way of Water and what you thought about it.
Oh dear. Are you expecting You're expecting something good, because I'm afraid you're going to be sorely disappointed.
No, Shaun. If I'm going to be disappointed, now this is the thing. If you say I'm going to be disappointed, I would be disappointed if you told me that Avatar was the best thing you'd ever seen. I would. If you came in here, you told me Avatar: The Way of Water. Oh my God, it's amazing! I would be disappointed, because then it would mean that I might actually have to go see it just so I can tell you you're wrong.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet, then, Toes? You haven't seen it.
I honestly, Shaun, this has been a thing I've been thinking about throughout the Christmas period. I have been so searching and I don't think I'm going to see it in the cinema.
No, I
don't think I'm going to see it in the cinema.
Because I could do a spoiler rant on this for like a good 7.5 minutes. I could tell you all the plot holes, all the things that would get me angry. It's everything that get me angry in this.
Okay, but first, what did you think about the first Avatar? What was your relationship like with the first Avatar?
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I thought it was a little bit overhyped. I didn't think it was as great as everybody said it was. From what I remember,
we are in total agreement.
Yes. It was really sort of overhyped, and what's going on here. So I mean, it was okay for what it was. It was something new. It was trying to do something different, but it still didn't really grab me. I thought it was a little bit. What's the word? What should we say? Just not. Not. It didn't have the wow factor that I thought it was going to have, or what I was expecting. So it was good.
Because,
it was okay.
because you saw it with friend of the show, Joe.
Yes.
And Joe is a total Avatar kind of disciple / prophet, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. He absolutely loves Avatar. He thinks it's like transportational, transcendental, all that.
Yes.
And I thought you were in the same. So you went into this one. Probably because it was the only film in cinemas throughout the entire Christmas period.
That's it. And I saw the Avatar, yours, Holly's and Sharon's Avatar thing, and I thought I better go see this then. that inspired me to go see it, you see. So,
Oh, I love it. So we're like, we're not going to see it. We're not going to see it. And Shaun, as ever, the only professional around here, Shaun being the only professional around here, decided, you know what? If we're going to be talking about films, I'm going to go see it so we can at least, if we're going to say it's rubbish, we know what we're talking about. Yeah. So, okay, that being said, tell us about Way of Water this is a film that well, without spoilers, but to be honest with you, I don't really care. But if we're going to have some semblance of actually being good at talking about films, let's try and keep it to that. Let's take a moral high ground and have no spoilers.
Okay, no spoilers. All right, okay. So The Way of Water, it basically carries on. I think the guy, I can't even remember, Jake, I think he's become sort of married and he's had kids. You know, Jake was the Avatar guy that was, and you've got the general. The general's an Avatar now. So
General Quaritch, played by Stephen Lang, the bad guy in the first one.
And there's all these teenage kids. Anyway, so basically you have a little bit of a battle with like in the forest, and then they decide that he's going to take all his kids and go and live with the Water Tribe, you know. Yeah. And of course, the leader of the Water Tribe, he's got kids, and he just happens to have a girl that's about the same age as the older, you know, the second one. So you get this action scene at the start, which it's like, I mean, that's okay. And then you just they go to this Water Tribe, and then you've got like 3/4 of the film of just like teenage angst, like melodrama, sort of, you know, we'll show you what to do, and a little bit of flirting and a little bit, you know, and it's just like, and that part that's where they go swimming with the jellyfish and all the things, you know, and it's just like, so long of that. It's like, oh, come on, do something. It's like, marina, aquamarine, you know, it's all like swimming all through this stuff, and it's like, okay. And then they find out that obviously what's going to happen. The general finds out where they are, so there's a bit of a, you know, they have to go. They got this big whaling ship. Basically, it's like whales. You know, there's like a whaling ship. They have to capture these big whales make some money because they So and then
so essentially you're saying plot. You don't care.
Plot. Yeah, I don't care. Not plot. There was no. I mean, I had no sympathy with any of the characters, and the final 20 minutes was just like I was huffing and puffing and crossing my legs and thinking, oh my God, so many inconsistencies. So, like, what I don't understand. Okay,
so let me just say something for anybody who's listening to this for the first time, and anybody who isn't used to our foibles when it comes to things. Shaun huffing and puffing and crossing his leg and getting more and more upright,
agitated,
equals not enjoying the film. Equals this is not good.
This is not good. The thing is, what I don't understand is maybe one of the inconsistencies. I don't suppose this much. You can swim underwater and hold your breath for ages. Yeah, you could swim, and so, I mean, if you could swim under the water, the top of the sea catches fire. Would you swim away from danger, or would you swim back to where the danger is? You know what I mean? It's like, come on. It's like, come on, why are you doing that? You could quite easily go this way. Why are you going that way? Oh, I know why you're going that way, because you're gonna have a stupid thing. And then you've got thousands of people that just disappear, and it just goes on. And it's like, well, what happened to all those? Where are they now? You know what I mean? It's like, what's going on? So I should imagine this might appeal to teenagers, but for me, it was, I could go a full 7.5 minutes. I was thinking of all the stuff I could possibly, but it'd be too much to go on. So not a very good film. Long, really sort of teenage angsty in the middle. The acting was pretty poor, really, to be honest with you, in my opinion. And so you've made a wise choice, people. You've made a super wise choice not to go and see this movie.
Another thing. Okay, to add to my rant from the last time of why I don't want to. Part of why I don't want to is like this film is being positioned as a go see this film and save our cinemas. The fact that it's pretty much the only film. I mean, apart from this and Matilda the musical, only film that you could find in the cinema to watch over Christmas, apart from like only new film. And
I'm just going to come in here. We're talking about that. Is that I was talking about this at work today with someone, and the chat popped up, and he said, "Oh, did you see Puss in Boots? It's got much better raves and much higher on the thing than Avatar." I thought, oh right, okay, that sums it up.
Well, it's just kind of like it's just there's a bit of things where they're trying to position it as go save our cinemas, because if you don't go watch this film, then oh my god, if Avatar's not going to make any money, then maybe we're not going to release other films in the cinema. Then maybe cinemas will die, and I think everything about this film just feels so cynical to me. It feels so cynical. It feels like it's been made, well, first and foremost to make money. And the thing is, and as I said, the technical aspects of it, I'm sure is going to be technically excellent. And until you get humans and the Na'vi in the same space, I'm sure it's going to be technically excellent. But I don't like it. Once you say James Cameron's written the story, I don't think he's good at writing stories. I don't think that there's going to be much in there. It's going to be really, really simple, and it's going to be a very simple story stretched over way too long. So yeah, I'm going to wait until that comes out on Disney Plus, watch it then, and if I'm part of the death of cinemas, well, they should have tried harder and not just giving me Avatar. They should have given me something else to watch over Christmas for the Christmas break.
So you did make a wise choice there, people.
So how many? Okay, sure.
How many stars? Okay.
Yes. How many stars?
Oh, this is a tough one. From a personal point of view, probably, I mean, I should imagine it would appeal to certain people. Certain people would like it. Maybe young adolescents, or young adults or whatever they call them. That I don't know. You're allowed to call them adolescents. Young. I
think adolescents are still okay.
Adolescents, yeah. You have to be so careful these days. But yeah, so I think it might appeal to some of them. Maybe they might enjoy it. But for me personally, I could only probably give it a 2 because I was jumping about in my seat and everything else and that. But I would think, really, if I was fair, and some people might like it, they might give it a 3. But from a personal point of view, it's a 2 for me.
I feel like this is a film that if there's anybody who loved the first Avatar, they would love this. And I think not even that they would. I'm not even sure that they would actually love it. They would just be like, it's become almost like a religious thing. It's become almost like a cult. It's like political parties in the States. We are the Avatar party, therefore everything that happens in Avatar is amazing. 5 stars.
It's funny you should say this because I spoke to Joe, because Joe went to see this with his lad, and even he was like, well, yeah, I had some issues with it. So yeah.
Okay, all right. If Joe, our good friend Joe Briscoe, if Joe is saying that's I feel like that's a damning indictment.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a damning indictment. Okay, cool. So we'll give 2 stars to Avatar, our sole representative in the cinema this week. Do we think we can do any better with home stuff? So what did we see on home stuff? Let's start with you, Sharon. What did you see?
Well, I finally finished 2 things. I was partway through. So I finished Witcher Blood Origin, I think it's called.
Yep. Yeah, Witcher Blood Origin. Released on
I watched
Day.
on Netflix, and then I also watched The Duchess on Netflix, German Austrian film series.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, so it's just because, oh man, when you said that, just made me realize that title has been used for quite a bit, because there was a film.
It's used. There's a Keira Knightley film.
There's a Keira Knightley film called The Duchess, and
I think they called it The Duchess because I think in the original German she's called like the Kaiserin or the Kaiserin. It's like the female version of Kaiser. So it's I think it's the equivalent is probably closer to Empress, but
okay,
it's or Queen. But yeah, it's just called The Duchess in translation.
All right, cool. And also there's a TV show where Catherine Ryan called The Duchess or called Duchess. It's like a sitcom. So when you said that, and that's also on Netflix. So when you said that, I was like, what? They said German.
I saw that. No, this was a historical drama about the Austro-Hungarian Empire of the 1860s.
Okay, cool. And Holly, what did you see?
I have also seen Witcher Blood Origin. I have seen all of In From Cold. I'm partway through The Duchess and partway through, not finished series 2 of The Great. And I know other things that I have just forgotten about, but those are the ones at the front of my mind because I've seen an awful lot of series. Oh, and The Watcher, which I think we've talked about previously.
Oh no, we never talked about The Watcher.
Well, yeah, The Watcher,
Okay.
The Witcher, and
The Watcher, the
Witcher and the Witcher. Yeah.
Watcher.
We've still got 3 more vowels to go.
Okay, and Shaun, how about you? What have you seen at home?
Yeah, well, at home, I mean, on the plane, I watched 1883, and I know Sharon reviewed it, and I quite liked that.
That's the Yellowstone one.
Yeah,
I don't think is it Yellowstone one? It was 1883. I watched that on the plane. I watched the whole
Yellowstone
series.
prequel story. Yeah.
Who's
Yeah, that was good. Who is in it? Who is in it, Sharon? You probably
Tim
know more than me.
McGraw Tim McGraw and Faith Hill.
Is that Helen Mirren? Or is that a different one?
That's in 1923.
And Sam Elliott in it?
Sam Elliott's in it,
yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I thought that was really good. Also, I watched The English on, and that I binge watched that. 6 episodes. Oh, you've reviewed The English, have you, Sharon?
I reviewed that one. Yes, I watched that one. I really liked that one.
Yeah, I really liked that one too. I thought it was really, really clever. I thought that was a clever way of, like, because of the death of her son and whatever. I thought it was really cleverly done.
The actual reveal was, good.
Masterclass.
I thought.
All right, no spoilers. No spoilers.
Okay, no.
There is a reveal, but when you hear it, you go, everything makes sense now. But it's genuinely
because that's one I will be seeing.
Yeah, genuinely good series.
We'll save that then. And Emancipation, which was I'll jump to see on the thing, which was Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith, Apple TV Plus. Yes, that. All right, cool. Now we've got to get Sharon out of here in enough time to go watch A Man Called Otto, because Sharon has found us. Because Shaun, you were saying how you were planning to see something else at the cinema. Was it A Man Called Otto?
Whitney. I was going to go.
Whitney. I wanted to ask
somebody. And it just the times just didn't. It's one of those ones where the times just didn't. I couldn't. I would have been halfway through, or so I'd have seen the beginning or the end. I couldn't really do both.
Yeah. So and this is something I'm not sure whether it's just like life or whether it's growing older or anything like that. I'm finding it's more and more the case that when I find a window to go watch a film, grab that window to go watch a film in the cinema.
That's true.
So now that Sharon has found a window in which you can go watch A Man Called Otto, we need to get out of here to go watch A Man Called Otto.
Yes.
So with that in mind, because I've actually shown, what you were talking about making a list. I've started making a list of things I've watched.
It's a good idea, really.
So that I can remember what it is I'm going to talk about. Over this Christmas break, I pretty much watched nothing. I watched nothing because I was busy. It was my mum's 70th birthday on the 30th of December, and we had a do for her, and so we were organizing that, and I feel like that's taking off everything. And then once that finished, I've been asleep. So, but I do have a list of things that I haven't reviewed yet. I've got Mammals, which is James Corden on Amazon Prime. I've got Do Revenge, which is on Netflix. And Holly, if you haven't seen Do Revenge, I think Do Revenge will be right up your street.
Oh, I haven't. Okay, that is on the list.
Honestly, think of it as a combination of Mean Girls and Heathers or something like that.
We should write them down, because I've also seen White Noise. I just remembered I've seen White Noise as well. Yeah. So
okay, Shaun, I will do you a favor, and I will add I'll add a note and say things that Shaun has seen and mentioned but hasn't reviewed yet.
Okay.
I will do that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because I love you, Shaun.
Thank you, mate.
Okay, so Shaun
I'll start keeping a list as well. I think as well. So because I think it's the only way to do it, because we see so much.
Yeah. Well, there's so much to see. I mean,
yes, there is.
At home, I mean, there's so much to see, and it's really, really hard to try and to try and get your head around everything. There's just so much each week, and there's more stuff being released. It's like they don't want us to have lives, essentially.
Right.
So
there's no break between it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something very, very harsh, and I'm going to ask you guys. We have to pick one thing. You have to pick one thing you want to talk about, and we're going to go through that. And if we'll see how much of that we get through by 7:00, and then if we get through that, we might have another one. Before Sharon, hi to whoever's in your room with you.
There's no one in the room with me.
Oh no, you keep looking off to the side like there's something. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, cool. We'll do this until we get to 7. Until we get to 7. So let's kick off with Holly, because Holly, we've heard you speak the least out of everybody. Pick one thing from all of your things. Pick one piece of something that you finished watching that you want to talk about.
The Watcher.
The Watcher. I was hoping you'd pick that.
Series with Naomi Watts as the lead, but it's an excellent cast all round. begins where she and her husband discover their dream home, that they, extend themselves for, to acquire out in the suburbs. She is an artist and he is something corporate that they never make clear, but is hopefully soon to be partner. And she is now selling art. They have 2 children and head off to the middle of nowhere, except it's not a lovely community, except all of the neighbors are a little bit weird. So they sort of open the door and find their neighbors in their garden collecting wild rocket, or sitting on deck chairs looking at their house, just generally peering at them in a slightly sinister fashion. And they, being city types, do not warm to this slightly bizarre neighborhood sort of camaraderie.
Can you say hot fuzz?
There are, yes, arguably some elements of that. There, by the way, her old friend and their now estate agent is Jennifer Coolidge, who is very, very Jennifer Coolidge, but quite wonderful. And
I just want to say, so I think Jennifer Coolidge has got into that stage where she plays Jennifer Coolidge in everything.
Yeah, she firmly is Jennifer. She is a true Jennifer Coolidge in this, plus being an estate agent. And they start receiving mystery letters from somebody who signs themselves the Watcher, who says how much they like watching the house, and isn't it a lovely house, and it's so nice to see these new people in there, and isn't this all just lovely, and it's fundamentally quite creepy. And they also find one of their neighbors in the house inside their dumbwaiter, because why not? And so they become concerned for their general safety and get locks put on and security cameras with a very, very nice young man who's 19, who comes along and sets up the security cameras for them with his new company. And yeah, bizarre things ensue. Everything is very tense. Not good things happen. So the wife and the kids go and stay in a motel at night, so that they're not in the house where people may be doing bad things or whatever. And the overall premise from there is, who is this Watcher? What do they want? How dangerous are they? And how will all of the family's lives sort of fall apart when put under this kind of very weird pressure? It's a very good watch. I binged it on New Year's Eve. In fact, I watched the entirety of it on New Year's Eve, curled up on the sofa. I very much enjoyed it. I would put it on my list of potentially maybe someday watching again, to pick up on the things that I missed because I wasn't paying attention, of which I have many. I think it gets a 3.5.
Right.
Would recommend.
So, oh, wait a second. Sorry, I was muted there. So essentially, for if you're listening to us for the first time, that is Holly's version of, yeah, this is a really good thing. I would put it on my watch again list, because Holly is a serial rewatcher. So rewatcher of the Watcher. Never mind. So okay, now this is a Ryan Murphy thing. So he of Glee and everything like that. And I think Ryan Murphy, I don't know, Shaun, what would you say? Is he Marmite?
I think so, yeah, because didn't he start off the American Horror Story?
He did, yeah, he did American Horror Story. I think he's still in charge of American Horror Story.
Oh, is he? Right. And then there was one about, was it Scream Queens or something that he did?
Yeah, he did Scream Queens as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So they are, I think, yeah, they are ones like love them or hate them, because I loved Glee, but then I didn't really sort of get into this other stuff. But yeah, I was really, I sort of, Glee just sort of caught my imagination when that came out, even though I was like 30 years too old for it. But people were like, what is it? And I was like, you've got. We had like this Glee fan club at work where we all like loved it.
Yeah.
But if they didn't get it, they just did not get it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more American Horror Story than Glee.
Yeah.
But it's not American Horror Story.
But the thing about it is that I feel like if you're going to look at all of his stuff, if something a lot of Ryan Murphy's stuff is it would okay. I'm going to be lazy and use the term guilty pleasure, because it's a little bit trashy. It's a little bit kind of like, oh come on, so that's a bit far fetched. And you either buy into it or you don't. Like I think he did The Politician, which the first season of I watched and I quite like that. He also did Hollywood on Netflix, because he has a big deal with Netflix. He did Ratchet on Netflix, which the idea I didn't agree with. Like, why do we need a biopic of Nurse Ratchet when she was young from One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest? What is the point of that? And he did Hollywood. There's a series called Hollywood, which has really, really good production values, but my God, annoyed the life out of me. The end of that season is so dumb, and it's so dumb as to be insulting to everybody who lived at that time in 1950s Hollywood. But anyway, so yeah, I was just wondering about that with Ryan Murphy. But so with this, Holly, does it go into the sort of guilty pleasure-y type stuff, like a bit trashy, a bit soap opera-y, or not?
Not quite. I know that's sort of somewhat unhelpful, but it's not trashy soap opera, but it is quite. Some of it is quite bizarre. So again, it's more American Horror Story than Glee, but
okay.
No, I think it's more watchable than. It's not quite. It's not trash.
Okay. So it's not sort of like, okay, it's bad, but you kind of enjoy watching it. You think this is actually kind of good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's what I wanted to get to. All right, thank you very much, Holly. And now Sharon. Hang on, wait. Yes, Sharon. Sharon, we come to you to choose one thing. Bring one thing to the table.
I'll go with The Witcher because I know that Holly's watched that. Then we can both do The Duchess when she's finished that one off. Okay. So, The Witcher: Blood Origin is a origin story for The Witcher.
Whoa!
There, that's a surprise. You don't say.
It's not as long as The Witcher. I think there's only. I'm trying to think. Was it four
episodes? I think
four episodes.
4 episodes. Yeah.
And unlike The Watcher, it's not very good. I really rate The Witcher. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know. I couldn't see the point of this story really, because it's a blood origin, or an origin story should basically give you a bit of insight into what happens, how these events affect later events. And I could not. For me, for the whole time I was watching this series, I was trying to connect these events to what happens in the future, and it did make a lot of sense to me. But basically, what it comes back to is the singer in The Witcher. His Jack. I can't remember his name. Jaxa.
I can't remember. I just remember the song. I don't remember his name.
The singer in it. Anyway, he sort of meets this sort of elf, and she tells him a story of how it all began. How before this convergence of all the worlds, when all these creatures and humans and elves and dwarves and how they all became all muddled up on this one world. Before that, all these different worlds were separate. And it's telling the story of how this convergence happened. And you meet these different characters, all elf kind, who have to do stuff. And there's this and they have like this quest type thing. Again, it's like one of those, it's like stuff about stuff. So they so you meet these characters, and none of them were very. I can see you so close to saying the words thingamajigger and the what's it and the whoojamacallit.
And the whoojamacallit, yeah.
Because I know they set out to do this quest. I'm thinking it's only been like a week since I've watched it. I'm thinking, what do they have to do again? Why would they all go into that one place to do that one thing, to stop that other thing? And so it was all that sort of. So they have this sort of magnificent seven where you end up, as over the episode, these sort of people. They start off with like this one guy who's kicked out of the palace because he's been having a relationship with the emperor's daughter or sister, and then there's a massive coup, and then she becomes the empress, and so he's been discarded, but then they say no, you've got to go back because there's stuff going on, can't remember what. Then he meets up with this another person from another clan who's walked away from the clan because it was like too violent for her, but she decides to come back and like rediscover her violence, her true gift for violence. Then there's someone else joins them who's a bit cross about something, and then there's someone else joins them because they're upset about something else, and they all just do stuff. So to me it didn't make any sense. I couldn't see what the point of it was. So it was,
Well, yeah. Okay, I've got to be honest with you. I always, whenever they have a prequel series and they go, oh, we're going to go hundreds of thousands of years into the past, I just, my soul lets out a massive,
why?
Because I'm like, okay, why? It's not even going to link up. What is the point? All I got, and so when I heard about this, it didn't really have. I didn't really have that much of it. So, like in the first season of The Witcher, we had this whole inventing this nest thing where you're watching it and you're going, hang on, what's going on? It's not until about episode 4 or 5 that you figure out, oh, that's what's happening.
Yeah, and it was we all went, wow. Yeah. But there was none of the revelations were, and you know what, there's some of the things I'm thinking, I just can't work out what's going on here. It wasn't clear and obvious what the point of this was. So for me, it lacked in storytelling, it lacked in focus, it lacked in motivation. So that one quest, I thought, what are you trying to do again? So it left me a bit cold, really. So, but what did you think, Holly? Because you saw it as well.
I very much agree with what you said. I thought,
but she gives it 4 stars.
But I do not give it 4 stars. It was, not terribly well acted, somewhat incoherent, quite incoherent actually. It took some real thinking to try to work out what the hell was going on and why. You missed out there was a monster, so the monster is part of it.
Oh, a monster. Yes, there was a monster.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was a monster.
How bad is that? Sharon has forgotten it. The show is so bad. The show is so bad that Sharon has forgotten a whole monster.
Yeah, and defeating the monster is a part of why they're doing this. So,
oh, I see. Okay.
So I think
thought it was like at that point I just gave up caring.
That illustrates the level of coherence. There are monsters as well. And Lenny Henry's in it as an evil wizard.
As a mage, is an evil mage. Yeah.
I think evil wizard sounds funny when talking about Lenny Henry.
He was in that Rings of Power as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Clearly doing his serious accent.
Really?
Well, I mean, insofar as. It was sort of guilty pleasure viewing though, because it was rubbish. But I did watch, because it was only 4 episodes, I did watch it a second time to see if I could make more sense of it, and it did improve with a second watch.
Okay. I just watched it the first time and I was sort of having to resist to like, can I get away with reading my book while watching it? And that was one of those things.
I did a lot of, games of, solitaire and things on my iPad whilst watching it. It did not capture a huge amount of my attention.
Yeah.
So I give it a 2, and I'm probably being a bit generous with a 2, but
I would go with.
And that's after you watched it twice.
That's after I've watched it twice. It was
and
still
it improved on view.
Yeah,
I would give it a 2 as well, because I think, it was meh, but it wasn't dreadful all the way through. It had moments of dreadfulness, and it had moments of like, that looked quite impressive. There's the effects or the way they'd filmed it. I thought, that's quite nice. I didn't understand the geography. The geography of where they were traveling made no sense whatsoever.
Absolutely stumped. No clue.
Yeah, because it was like they're 1 minute they're tramping through mountains, the next it was like in the winter, then it would be like walking through fields in the summer. I'm thinking, are they crossing continents or what's going on here? So the geography made no sense at all. So there are moments where it looked nice, where obviously they filmed this scene thinking, well, this looks good, without it sort of joining up at the gap. So I would give a 2. I just couldn't give it any more than 2.
They tried. Well done for trying.
Oh, bless.
I heard about this.
Medal in it.
I heard about this show. One of the things was that apparently this show was supposed to be 6 episodes, and then they cut it down to 4, which seems to make sense of some of the incoherence and the fact that like things seem to happen already too quickly and all that. But hey, well, that's part of the business of making TV, I guess, in the background. Okay, so that's 2 stars for The Witcher Blood Origin. And Shaun, you've been going through pictures in the background. So we're on Zoom. We're recording this on Zoom. And Shaun, if you see our YouTube channel, Netflix vs. Cinema on YouTube, you will see us doing individual reviews. And behind Shaun, you will see a whole bunch of stills from films. And I have been ignoring them so far, but I can name. I know the last one was Stellan Skarsgård as the Baron Harkonnen.
Baron Harkonnen. Yeah, well done.
Baron Harkonnen in Dune. This is Scott Glenn. And I was going to say Stick in Daredevil, but no, I don't think it is. I think this is Kill Bill.
No, it's not Kill Bill.
It's not Kill Bill.
No.
It's not Kill Bill.
No.
Scott Glenn, then is it Daredevil?
No, it's not Daredevil.
There's blonde hair, the front left.
Yeah, I know. I know there's blonde hair in the front. That's what made me think Kill Bill.
Yeah.
So
this is. Do you want to have another go, or do you want me to tell you?
Hang on, wait, blonde hair.
It's not because I think if you had Thomas Jane in The Punisher was
that's it. Well done.
The second picture, wasn't it?
Yes.
So I'm thinking, is it Mortal Kombat? This?
No, it's some good guesses. No, it's a bit more fantasy in this. I mean, I enjoyed this film, but I don't think too many.
Seventh Son.
No.
Just going to start shouting films out.
Season of the Witch.
No.
Oh, we've had that before.
Avatar: Way of the Water.
No, this is Sucker Punch.
Oh,
okay.
See that, Emily, on the
yeah.
Sucker Punch. Yeah. He like pops up all through it. He's like a soldier and he's the bus driver and
the truth that so much happens in that film that so much happens and there's so many changes of scenery and setting that God knows.
That's it. Right up my street.
The first one you had was LL Cool J.
LL Cool J.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you what film it was because he hasn't been in. When it comes to big screen stuff, he hasn't been in that much stuff. But
I'm not going to tell you what he was in because otherwise that will give the clue away. But maybe this might.
Wait, hang on. Let me have a guess. Was it SWAT?
No, I'll give you this one.
Hang on, that is Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord. Oh yeah, no, yeah. That was going to be. I was going to say Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea, because of the Avatar.
Because when it comes to like big, when it comes to big screen stuff, L Cool J is really much Deep Blue Sea. But I couldn't remember him wearing that outfit in that film. All I can remember him was in the chef's coat. But yeah, when you put this one up, that's Samuel L. Jackson in Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah. So all of those were in the film Deep Blue Sea, which is what I thought. Because we did Avatar, I just thought that would be like a bit of the link.
The link is that they're all in Deep Blue Sea. Because I was beginning to wonder.
So many times have I seen it. Deep Blue Sea. Of course I do. Ridiculous shark film. Of course I love it. 3 of them. The third one is so bad. The second is like unspeakable.
And see, Holly, you did something good, and we're about to have a loving, and then you just had to go bring up the fact that they made sequels to that. They made rubbish sequels to a great film, because I actually think Deep Blue Sea is a very good film.
Yes,
not like it's good in spite of blah blah. I think it's actually just straight up a good film. I think Deep Blue Sea is really, really underrated, and the fact that film doesn't get I mean, okay, when you talk about shark movies, you have Jaws at the top, and then not far behind it, I think you have Deep Blue Sea, and then you have all the other rubbish coming behind it.
Sharktopus has got to come in third there, I think.
Ghost shark, the ghost of a great white shark that only attacks people when they're wet. Avalanche shark, spirits of a mountain that swim through snow, thereby combining scantily clad women in hot tubs, sharks, and snowboarding.
Yes.
And then there is the classic, I think.
Was that ice sharks?
No, that's avalanche sharks. Ice sharks.
Avalanche shark.
There is that classic
Sharknado.
Sharktopus versus. There is Sharktopus versus werewolf.
Isn't there like Sharktopus versus there's giant shark versus mega octopus or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Okay. So for
there's-
anybody who's listened to us for the first time and thought, yeah, this is gonna be a podcast that talks about good films. Yeah, every now and then this happens because Sharon and Holly share this love of stupid shark films. I mean, there was one I saw on one of these random channels, because I don't actually have like a Sky box or a Virgin box in my house, but my parents did. So over Christmas, saw it, and it was three-headed shark. So
Yeah.
what?
Oh,
so
that's so bad.
So one scene of it and thought, nope. And just left. I was like, life is too short. Life is too. But anyway, okay, no, let's get back to Shaun. Bring one thing from what you've seen at home that you want to talk about.
Okay, well, I think I'll probably because it was sort of over Christmas I saw this. I'm probably going to bring Emancipation into the mix. I think this is because I quite like my historical, and this is basically based. There was a photograph of a slave that had been whipped, and a famous black and white photograph. I forget the chaps. I should. Yeah, Peter, and so this was all around the world to show the difference. And he actually joined the Union forces in where the Emancipation comes in. He says, "Oh, I've got to find Lincoln. I've got to find Lincoln." So the film starts off on a plantation with your archetypical, really, really nasty, slavers and all
slavery. Oh, you have to say slavery.
Yeah. So all the horrible people you could possibly think of, with no nice ones among them. And he gets taken away to work for the Confederate Army, like building a railroad. And he says to his family, "Right, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you." And so he gets building this railroad, and he runs away with a couple of other people, and it becomes a bit of a chase movie through the Louisiana swamplands. And I mean, really, there's nothing new in this. It's like you got hateful, horrible characters, straight out of Django Unchained that are probably chasing him, and
straight out of Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Uncle Tom's Cabin, yeah.
Simon Legree.
And so it's just this thing and making his way back and going through perils at certain times and getting chased here and escaping and coming up with really, really good ideas. Some of them which were quite good. I thought I quite liked that aspect of it. But the one thing I couldn't get over with this is
Will Smith's accent.
No, not even that. His expression. There's expression. He had one expression through the whole of the film, which really, really bugged me. Really, really did. He was just like, and he didn't convince me. I was not convinced. I think for me personally, I didn't believe he was, any time did I believe he was in peril, or whether he just had one sourpuss look up on his face, one expression which never changed. It might have raised an eyebrow like Roger Moore, but he never really, and it didn't. I don't know. It didn't come with. I quite enjoyed the scenery, some of the things to get away from the people that were chasing him. I thought were quite good, quite interesting. He was quite clever in that respect,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It just. I think this could have been a good film. I mean, the cinematography was quite good. The atmosphere, the swamplands, and as I say, even there was a couple of action scenes, because at the beginning and at the end, I wouldn't say there was anything particularly nasty in it. There wasn't like lots of gore and blood, but there was a little bit. But for me, I don't know. I wanted to like it, Toes. I really, really wanted to like it.
Yeah.
But
I think it's the kind of film that when you hear the premise, you want to like it.
Yes.
It's like you hear the premise and you talk about it. You're predisposed to like, okay, please let this be good.
Yes, yeah. I mean, even the guy that was chasing him is an actor I like, but I can never ever remember his name.
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster. I mean, I love Ben Foster in a lot of things, but even in this, he didn't. I don't know. It just the acting wasn't convincing for me. It was okay. It was like it wasn't well acted. And as I say, Will Smith. I think Will Smith. He's starting. I don't know what is. I don't think he's done. I mean, I didn't really like that Into Earth film what he was in, or After Earth.
After Earth. After Earth. I don't think many people did. So.
No, and I just worry that he's becoming a bit. I don't know. I can't explain it. But if you see the sort of like the postery thing for the movie or the publicity for the movie,
that
one expression that he's got in that never, ever, 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 ever changes. So yeah, so that never changes through the whole film. It's that look, and it's like, come on, because well, you're better than this, man. You can do this, and it just was like, no, sorry.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about this film, though, even from the poster, the makeup people have done a great job because Will Smith kind of doesn't look like Will Smith.
No.
And I think that's actually quite an achievement because when I saw when I saw the first still of this film, they're like Will Smith, like, oh my god, yeah, that is Will Smith. But this is a film that you know, when you talk about wanting to like it, and obviously I think any film that you do that's going to be set in America, that's going to be set during slavery, nowadays is going to get comparisons to 12 Years a Slave.
Of course it is.
Yeah, and that's a film that I always say, brilliant film, never watching it again in my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's and it's something I think I've spoken to, we spoke about when that film Antebellum came up with Janelle Monáe in it. I think you saw it, Shaun, and Holly saw it as well. And I said I don't think I can watch it because I personally am over images of black people getting brutalized.
Yes.
And everything I hear about this film is that the first bit of the film before it becomes a chase movie is like exploitationary slavery movie making 101. Let's get some black people and let's call them the N-word 15,000 times and let's whip them and let's kick them about and let's shove them in things and I'm like, and this actually made me wonder.
All
like,
over it,
yeah. It made me start thinking like, okay, if I was going to make a film, maybe I was going to make a film that, because I think that these stories need to be told. I think it's just about the way you tell them. It's if I was going to make a film that was set during that time, and you're going to talk about the black people's experience of slavery, which I think needs to keep being spoken about because there's enough people in the world who try and ignore it. And the thing is, I think it needs to be spoken about. But I would want to make a film, but I would want to make a film without showing all that stuff. Yeah, maybe showing more the effects of that stuff on people and the effects of that stuff on the psyche of a people. But it's so that when I hear that there's going to be more of that kind of like slavery stuff, I'm just like, no.
I mean, some of the historical. I mean, this was, as I say, it was based on a character. But I mean, there are some movies like I like Selma, and I think there's a movie coming out soon which is about the boy who gets killed down. I forget, it's like a lady, whatever that is. I saw a thing on Cineworld next week, which I'd like to see. What's it called? That looks quite good. So. I mean, some of these, this wasn't up there. This was just a chase movie with a bit of nice scenery and, you know, some like.
I'm actually up for the chase movie bit. The chase movie bit of it makes me more likely to want to watch it than the slavery bit. Yeah. Well, the slavery bit, like you say, is at the beginning, then it becomes a chase movie with some horrible people along the way. But you know, because the chase movies are at least him trying to do something, take agency, trying to escape. That's something. But anyway, how many stars would you give Emancipation?
Okay, Emancipation. As I say, I wanted to like it, so the chase scene was pretty good. The battle scene at the end was fairly good, so I would give this a low three. But I did find that, I mean, perhaps they put so much makeup on Will that he couldn't move his face at all. He couldn't move his face. He couldn't move his face. But honestly, if you do watch it, I know you probably won't. But if you do watch it, that expression on the paper never moves. Never moves. No matter what he does, whether he goes through water or whether he's up a tree or whether he's talking to Union soldiers or Confederate soldiers, it never changes. So I'll give it a 3 anyway.
I love the idea that they caked him with so much makeup he couldn't move his face. I love the idea. Cool. All right. And on that note, I think we already knew who was going to win, whether it was going to be cinema or Netflix this week. So maybe the death of cinema is coming. Maybe that the cinema is coming. Maybe even though I hear that Avatar is making a lot of money, because around the world, I think James Cameron has gone and cut some deal when nobody else released the film for 4 weeks. So the only thing to watch is Avatar. But I hear it is making a lot of money. But hey, if it's left to us, I guess, like on the evidence of this week, cinema's gonna die.
Yeah. I mean, what are the reviews for what's the general consensus with Avatar anyway? Because I haven't really looked at.
This is why I was talking about it. This is what I was talking about when I was saying about people who are either in the Avatar camp or not in the Avatar camp, and it's like a political party. The reviews of this, read a little bit like the reviews of Donald Trump's presidency. Where you have some people who just seem to be like you read some reviews and it's like you're not talking about the same film. Because there's some people who are like, oh my god, this is what cinema is all about, this is what we need to have, this is going to bring people back into the multiplexes, this reminds you of why you're alive, this is immersive, this is there's those people who go on that, and that's all they seem to care about. And then those people who kind of go, the story sucks, this thing is too long, the 3D made my eyes hurt, and that seems to be what you're getting those two ends of people who are either saying it's amazing, it's the best thing ever, James Cameron is a genius, we should all drink whatever Kool-Aid he gives us, and the people who say no, this sucks, get a good story writer. but who knows. But Shaun, actually, did you see it in 3D or not?
I didn't see it in 3D. I have to be honest.
Okay.
I did not go and see the 3D version because it does find it hurts my eyes a bit. Maybe I might have been more forgiving, but I don't think so. Even with all the jellyfishy, fishy, ferny, lovely little fishy type creaturey type things.
You see, because when we talk about that kind of thing, I feel like that's like a museum piece or an installation, or like, you know, when you go to all these 3D rides on at theme parks.
Yeah.
That's what you need. They're 10 minutes. Boom, you're done.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Don't take a 10-minute detour in the middle of a 3-hour film to just make me look at jellyfish. But anyway, on that note, thank you very much for joining us for the first show of 2023. Let's see what this year has to offer. I am hoping, if I'm going to hope for one thing, I'm going to hope that Marvel start upping the game again, even though, as I said, I still think that the multiverse is going to kill them.
Did you? I think that is. But the trailer, I did see the trailer for the new Ant-Man film, and I think that might be quite interesting. Yeah,
that could be interesting. It could be interesting, but I feel like they've kind of anyway. You know, this.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give you my things until next week. Until next week, when we'll find something to watch.
Okay.
Where Sharon will tell us about a man called Otto. It's a goodbye from me, Sharon.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Thank you very much for joining us. Until next week, when we get together to fight about stuff, and we apologize once again to Sharon for not watching what's in that film, Persuasion.
You're going